Hey, good morning, guys. It's been a while since I last filmed. I should introduce myself. Hi, hello. My name is Belle Brooke. I'm an aspiring author documenting her journey, and today we're going to take our first steps of doing our second draft. So it's revision time, guys, and so let's do this. Let me just take a sip of my coffee. So good, guys. It is coffee and protein powder. All right. So the past 2 weeks, I have done nothing with my first draft. And I mean, I was fighting myself not to edit anything because I didn't know how to do it. So the first thing I did was look all over YouTube for a video telling me this is how you do it. And granted, there was a lot of videos, but it just seemed a little unclear to me, especially for someone who's never ever done it before. So the first thing that I did was I studied. I studied these past 2 weeks. I read a lot of books, and I'm going to share some of them with you. There's a few more coming, so the studying is still ongoing. It's just these are the four that I have right now. I'm on the third book right now, and I'll be finishing it I think later today. But the first book, and I'm sure everyone has heard it, is Save the Cat. Right, it's a novel. This stays next to my desk, and I read it. I'm gonna read it again, I think, and it is especially helpful when it comes to making sure that your book or your story flows smoothly. And when I was reading this, I was thinking a lot about like movies. Like Disney movies, for instance, they're really good at hooking, um, like somebody who watches the movie, an audience. Wow, that's the word. Anyway, that's what I think about when I see this. And Disney movies are good at what they do, which is hook the audience, get you captivated by the story that they tell. And this explains it all. And having that in your head helps a lot to understand what the concepts are here on Save the Cat. And so I read this, really enjoyed it. It's staying here next to my desk because I'm probably going to look back at it. Next one is Refuse to Be Done. This is on how to draft. This is by Matt Bell, and it's basically writing your novel with 3 drafts. Now, it ain't gonna work for me. I'm just letting you know. It's not. Um, for those people that can, this can be really helpful if you are somebody who wants to write books year after year. For me, I don't think I can write a book like that. I think it takes a little bit more time, especially since this is my first time. Maybe in the future, who knows? In the future, maybe I can accomplish that. But no, not for a beginner. So it does have really good tips. I do think that, you know, in this book, it says that the first draft should be discovery writing, and you should just write as much as you can, not caring like for plot or structure, anything like that. Just write it out. And in the second draft, that's when you do a big overhaul of the first draft. Um, so, and then the third is line edits and copy edits. That's what it's basically saying. And it does have really good tips. I just don't think it is very helpful for beginners. I feel like this is really good for those who are seasoned and looking for a different way of drafting effectively. Excuse me while I take a sip. Okay, so the reason why I'm taking my time with Story Genius is for character development. I really want Project BK to be heavily invested with the FMC's story arc because I care about her. Um, and this reading this book reminded me why I'm writing this. Specifically when that idea was born and why I care so deeply about this book. It reignited my why, I guess you could say. And so I'm still reading this. but it doesn't mean I can't start some reading today of my first draft, which is what we're going to do today. So I have this and I'm still reading it. And that's why I can't really move forward with revision so much today. Um, but it's going to help me with reading this, if that makes sense. And we'll talk about that later. And then I have the last book I have here is Bird by Bird. I heard really good stuff on this, so I'm going to read it. And then I have another book recommended by a friend on Instagram. It's the Stephen King one. I think it's called On Writing, which is coming in the mail soon. Um, so I've been studying. I've been talking to a lot of people on the drafting process, what they're doing, and in the end, I'm gonna have to do it my way with a mixture of all the things that I've studied. So basically, here's the plan. Okay, so here's the plan. We are gonna read the first draft. We're gonna read it like a reader. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna read it, and then the second time I read it, I'm gonna write down all the scenes, so an outline of how the book is as it is. And then afterwards, that's when I'm going to write notes. An overall notes of what I need to work on. And I have an idea already of what I do need to work on, but I'm not going to write that down until the second reread. And then once I outline all those things that are happening in the book, I'm going to rearrange them. I'm going to rearrange them and I'm going to add some scenes to it because I know I need to add scenes. Because, as you guys have seen in my other vlogs, or if you haven't, I'll put a link up above here. I have forgotten characters. And if I've forgotten characters, I have forgotten plot stuff. Plot stuff. I don't even know the technical name for it. I know I forgot subplots, some important ones. I feel like I just grazed on them. And I'm going to probably put them up on the wall because I work better seeing it on the wall. So I have like butcher paper somewhere downstairs, which I'm going to put up here in my office. And my husband's probably going to think I'm insane, but having all these like plot points and having strings attached to it, I don't know if you guys have seen that meme. Probably put it here somewhere. Anyway, that's how it's going to look like because I work better visually seeing something versus like just seeing it in a small thing. And I feel like if I have it on the wall, it can help me. So that is the plan for today. So we're going to do our first read through of Project BK, and you guys will see my reaction to my writing. God, I haven't read the first chapter in like 7 months, which is another reason why I'm starting drafting early, right? It only took me 2 weeks to touch on the draft again, but technically it has been 7 months since I read the first chapter, or since I wrote it. It's been a long time, maybe even more than 7 months now. So that's what we're doing today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start reading this. All right, y'all. Okay, so I just finished chapter 1. Like I definitely have changed as a writer when I read this. Because I don't write like this anymore. Oops, sorry. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, but I don't write like this anymore. And yes, chapter 1 needs so much work. Probably going to be rewritten. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So we're going to move on to chapter 2. There is currently how many chapters? I think 23 chapters, which is not a lot. But I'm gonna need to like cut some of these chapters, the early chapters, because some of them are way too long, like 4,000 words per chapter. I don't think so. So that's what's gonna happen. But also I'm gonna add more as well because there are scenes missing for sure, scenes that need to belong in between certain big ones. But so far, also sorry about the hair. The first chapter probably needs to be rewritten. So we're gonna go ahead and keep reading. I think I'm gonna finish this. So I'll check in a little bit, but I just want to give you guys that reaction first. Already I know the first chapter needs to be rewritten for sure. Who knows? Who knows how many things I need to rewrite? I don't know. We're doing this together, so I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, so in the beginning of this video, I just wanted to read through my first draft. And to be honest with you, I got a little overwhelmed and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to organize this? And so I took a moment to kind of just ask myself, how am I going to break this down so I can work on it and actually progress? So what I did is I broke down my draft into the 3 acts. I finished the first act already. And while I was reading the first act, I also outlined the first act. And what I did is I did it by chapter, and then I divided it by scene, and I have a summary of each scene underneath the chapter. And I color coded the first act with green and purple so that I can just see it and have a bird's eye view of what's happening. I'm going to do the same thing for act 2 and 3, and that will give me just the ability to see everything from far away versus having to dive into the draft and getting lost in it, because this edit is going to be developmental. And once I finish this outline, what I'm going to do is get a new one where I follow some of the old stuff, but there's some new things that I need to do, and I need to add some things that will help with the plot holes that I've discovered already in Act 1 and the character arc. And I only say this because I know my story better and I know my characters better after finishing the first draft. And I'm hoping by outlining a little bit better and being more detailed in it, it will help me with the writing of the second draft. I don't feel as lost and I don't feel as intimidated after doing this and having like a plan of action and a direction to go to. Because initially I was like, okay, I'm going to read it and I'm going to outline it, but I didn't know how to outline it because there was so much crap, to do. So now I feel better. I don't feel as overwhelmed, and I don't feel all over the place now that I have some direction. And I hope this helped you guys in some way, those that are like on this stage not knowing what to do. And maybe you guys do know how to do it. I don't know. This is my first time doing it, and I'm just giving my thoughts out there in my process. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If it was helpful, great. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, and I hope it was entertaining at least. But my next job, oh, my cat came. Hi. Come here. Want to say hi? Oh, this is Momo. She's always here. You are a star. Okay. I love you, but let me finish this vlog. Okay. So what was I saying? Okay, so in the next one, I'm hoping to take you guys into outlining the new and improved version of Project BK. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!